So my next question then, Adam, about Scotland is, do you reckon that you can win the next World Cup? Hello and welcome to RugbyPass Offload with me, Christina Mahan. And today I'm joined by Ryan Wilson and Simon Zebo. How are you both?
Very well,
thanks.
very well.
Great, all good. How are you?
Zeebs, you decided to show up this week?
I did. Thanks for the invite. It's good to be back.
Bailed on us last week?
Yeah, what happened there then? I wasn't informed on this. What, you just didn't turn up last week?
You went drinking with Finn, didn't you?
No, last week I was supposed to slot in and be a replacement, but I ended up being busy on the day it was arranged.
Oh yeah, I was a bit gutted to not see you down at the Monaco Grand Prix, mate. I thought you'd be down with the boys.
I know. I had my flights booked and everything, and I was supposed to go down. It was a disaster. I just cancelled last minute because we had some stuff to do here for the move back. So it's a complete waste.
Oh my God, I can't believe you gave up Monaco Grand Prix.
I know.
Oh my.
There's always next year.
I'll show you a quick. This might or might not go in, but I'll show you a quick picture. So this was me. That was it. Me and my old man and Finn.
That's last weekend, is it?
That was him at the Grand Prix. Oh man, he was FaceTiming me every 2 minutes. To like,
I'm so jealous.
I was out doing jobs in the garden with my old man, and he went and met a friend of ours who sorted him out the day before the race in like an apartment with drinks and everything.
Oh, lovely.
And they were down a beach bar, and he was at this beach bar, and he went, "Oh, I'm at this beach bar, La Mala." And I was like, "Oh, yeah." I said, "Go and ask for the manager." And he's like, "Well, come on." I'm like, "Mate, go and ask for the manager. Say, is Stefan here?" So you hear Finn, he goes up to this bloke, he goes, "Excuse-moi, Stefan, s'il vous plaît?" He's like, "Oh, Stefan, it's moi." And Finn's turned the phone round, and me and my old man know the man, "Hey!" And this bloke's like, "Monsieur le Monster." Finn was like, "Wilson, how?" And I used to, my old man had a house down there back in the day, and I used to work in a beach bar for this boy on a dinghy, picking people up from their boats and bringing them in when I was like 12 years old.
That's so
And he was in the same bar with this bloke. So funny, man.
That's unreal. Small world.
Such a small world.
I think they had a good time though, eh? Old Kurt, he looked a bit ropey the next day, didn't he?
He had a very good time. You should have seen everybody. Like, there was a good few of our lads from Racing down at the races, and the Monday, it was obviously our week off the week before, and then we come in on the Monday and everybody's eyes are like barely open, like saying hello to each other at 8 o'clock in the morning, hanging. It was funny though. I wish I went in the end. But
please tell me, did you see Finn's cargo pants on the day of
the
race?
did.
Can we talk about the cargo pants now? What was he thinking?
I slag him about them, and then he's like, "Oh, yeah, but they're Prada or something like this." I'm like, I don't care if they're Prada. They could be from Aldi. They still look horrible. You know, it doesn't matter.
One of my mates commented on it. Are you sponsored by B&Q? I was like, one of my mates from home, and I was straight on it. Oh man,
brilliant.
Yeah, not the cargo pants. Jesus.
Maybe next year we can go with the podcast to the Grand Prix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're there without a doubt.
We'll manifest it. We will manifest it. Well, look, next on the agenda is Saturday's Heineken Cup final, where Toulouse came up against an incredibly physical La Rochelle. Now, first thing we have to get out, talk to me about the red card. The first ever in a Heineken Cup final. Was it the right decision? Ryan, what did you make of it? Yeah,
it's 100% the right decision. He's banged him in the chops with his shoulder. There's nothing not red card about it. Actually, when you look at it, I reckon La Rochelle got better after they got the red card. It does that. It does weird things. Like we've spoken about it before, Zeebs. Remember that game where you boys, after the death of Anthony Foley, and you boys got that red card, and you ended up absolutely hammering us because it just brings the team together. I think everyone's then on edge. Everyone focuses a little bit more. The thing was, he absolutely melts him in the chops of his shoulder, but then straight afterwards they take the tap and he melts the other person. And then both of them, there's just two blokes lying on the floor. He's like, "I'll probably get a red card for one of these." But yeah, you feel for him. But that's where I think, we've been seeing it. We're playing in this Rainbow Cup at the moment, and we've been doing this new law with the red card, the 20 minutes 20 minutes off and then bring another player on. That's where I think you can look at these laws now and go, actually, that makes a difference in the game. And just a few weeks ago, we had it in the Edinburgh game. We had 2 red cards in the game and brought a bloke on 20 minutes later. So I think it's good. I think it makes a difference. It keeps the game going. And would that have maybe gave La Rochelle a little bit of difference if that rule had been in place? Maybe, and they would have pushed it at the end and won the game. So, but yeah, it's a red card all day long, Azibs.
Yeah, 100%. No questions. Raj, was saying after that he didn't play a lot of rugby and they were nursing him through the week, injury-wise through training. So his timing wasn't, 100% there. So, it's a shame. It obviously affected the game and they would have had a really good chance. But yeah, if you tackle that high, you're going to get red every time. So I just think there probably should have been a second one. I think it was Aki came in with a high shot on Aldrit. During the game, and it was, a shoulder straight to the throat. It didn't hit him in the head, but the first point of contact is the throat. I just didn't understand, how he didn't get a card or a red. I thought on first viewing, I thought it was red, but besides that, the refs did quite okay, and it was a decent game. But yeah,
Finn got a red for the France game, where he chopped someone in the throat.
With the elbow.
Contact to the throat. What is that? That's above the shoulder, isn't it?
Yeah, and they said
depends how big your traps are, I suppose. If you've got massive traps, then your throat's below your shoulders.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you got socked in the throat, would you struggle to breathe, or is it just uncomfortable? I've never personally been tackled.
Depends how hard you are. Depends how tough you are.
Oh, yeah. Because who was milking it? Wasn't there some player, Ryan? Wasn't it one episode you were on?
That was the one where Finn chopped. I can't remember who it was.
Brice Doulan.
Rolling around, giving making the noises, giving the full effects. And I was like, get up. Do you know what? That is the one thing I hate at the moment in rugby, and it's getting like football. I've watched some football the last few weeks, and my son's obsessed with it, so he's making me watch it more. Honestly, the way they roll around on the floor. But honestly, rugby players now, you're seeing it come in, are getting a shot and rolling around the floor, because then they look at it and they go quicker to up top to go and have a look at it. Because sometimes Ali Price in the Edinburgh game got a shot to the chin, but got back up, and we had to go and do the captain's challenge, because we've got that captain's challenge at the moment, and say, he got shot to the chin. Can you go and check it? Whereas if he had fallen on the floor and held his chin and started rolling around, they're going to check it automatically.
That's right.
You don't want that, do you?
No.
I don't know how you stop it, but
do you think that's coming from, is the call coming from maybe certain members of the management squad to stay on the ground to ensure that it is checked? How is it all of a sudden coming into rugby?
You'd hope the TMO can do his job. It's not that hard. If there's only going to be 2 or 3 instances maximum a game where you'd have to, you'd see a fella injured. Now, hopefully he doesn't have to roll around on the floor for 2 or 3 minutes for the TMO to be aware of that. So I think the TMOs need to pick up on these contacts and things. They have to put more pressure on these guys, because it can hugely affect the game. So, you don't want to see boys rolling around the floor hoping that they'll get a penalty or hoping they'll get, someone sent off, because that's not in the spirit of the game. So
that's what happened after Bottia smacked that bloke. Someone tries to take a quick tap and he melts the next bloke. And because he wasn't 10 meters, the next bloke's rolling around the floor giving it and that's what they're waiting for. They're going, if it wasn't the first one, we'd definitely get the yellow because he's just melted me there.
Mm-hmm.
That's
wasn't there a question around, was it the medical team called for the game to be stopped in the second half because they were saying the play was getting too close to the injured player, but then there was questions around it, and was it actually that close? Did anyone pick up on that? I could not
believe that. I couldn't believe it. That I actually just felt sorry for Raj, because Aldrit again was on the ball. That was a penalty, a blatant penalty. There was a few calls, all right, that I was scratching my head a little bit at, that would have had huge significance on the game, and that the last play of the game, obviously, as well.
Yeah.
There was just a few key moments where it could be La Rochelle having their first star or Toulouse at their 5th. So I don't know.
Who did you guys want to win it?
La Rochelle, 100%.
Christina?
After having our special guest on last week, I was team Toulouse. But
go away! There's an Irishman on the other team.
But then having watched how, like, as I watched the game, I felt so sorry for La Rochelle, and they were doing so well with 14. If they had the full 15, they would have won that game. So
that wasn't the question. So you wanted to lose.
Do you remember?
We wanted La Rochelle.
Do you remember the fella who won the country a Grand Slam there in 2009? Do you remember that guy?
I do, and I felt, but yeah,
He
but
was
you
the coach.
didn't let me get out there.
Not the fella who was on the podcast.
No. Too late.
In fairness, every time the cameraman kind of panned up to Raj, it was like you didn't need a lip reader to figure out what he was saying. He was so frustrated, but rightly so.
100%.
I love listening to him speak French as well. I think it's the best thing in the world.
Bonjour. He's very funny.
Does he speak it with an Irish accent?
Cork accent, a proper Cork accent. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Amazing.
Moving on. So over the weekend, CJ Stander actually spoke about the incredible tribute that you guys all paid for Anthony Foley before your match against New Zealand when you formed the figure of 8. He said that you were all connected by the breeze, which blew through when you did that tribute. So Zeebs, what are your memories of that day and also the tribute performed?
I remember the tribute was very special. Yeah. I don't remember a whole lot. I remember the haka, but I thought that the atmosphere that day was particularly special, and it was a lot of that had to do with Axel. And it was just an incredible day. You only look back on it with fond memories. I remember CJ was saying, he was talking about a gust of wind and stuff like that. But I think every player has their own memory that sticks with them, and they'll hold forevermore, I suppose. And with CJ, it was that. And, I remember the haka being particularly silent, and then the end, the crowd just going absolutely mental in a complete sea of green, but it was special. While we were in the figure of 8, you could tell, even though as CJ said, all the Munster lads were at the front, but you could feel there was a vibe or an atmosphere there that we were going to go out and kill them. Like, not kill them, but it felt like a good day, similar to the day we played G guys in Thomond when we played Glasgow, right? There was just an atmosphere there that we weren't going to lose no matter what, and a very special day.
I still get goosebumps when I think about it. It was just so incredible. It was amazing. Fair play to you guys on the pictures and stuff. It always stands out.
The crowd though, the crowd completely made that day, I must say. The atmosphere was off the Richter. Even when they had momentum or they scored a try or whatever, as soon as we kick off, the roar was absolutely insane. And Soldier Field's a really cool stadium, it's really high, but the fans were really close to the pitch. No matter how high up the tiers went, so the sound was very, very loud, and they had a big contribution that day to us winning.
Man, I remember that day at Thomond Park when we came and played you, and it was pretty close to his death, and they did the tribute the day before, and went and laid a shirt, and we went down and laid a shirt for him and stuff. But that day in Thomond Park, like even the fans singing and stuff, oh man, they were like, what an atmosphere. And it was, for a club game, that was pretty special even then. And like you said, God, we got some abuse. And was it Keith Earls that got sent off?
Yeah.
And Keith got sent off.
And whoever it was, Fraser Brown, I think, was the guy. Just as we were talking a while ago about players lying around looking for refs to make decisions, that was one of them, I think. He wanted the card, yeah. He's a nice guy, good player, whatever. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but yeah. He contributed to the hiding you got that day too. So.
Yeah, well, that's it. Hey, listen, that's it. You boys are unbelievable. That's where you look at that galvanised that team. You didn't need galvanising, but that made it even more like, right, that's it. We're doing this now.
Yeah. I know it was always going to happen. Yeah. That was my favourite day actually in a rugby match. Obviously one of the saddest days, but one of my favourite days atmosphere wise. It was electric. It was a weird kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but it was.
I think even in a Glasgow shirt, you're like, that's one of the ones where you just accept the hiding and like, fair enough. Like you sort of wanted it to happen because it was Fair enough. Fair enough.
It definitely sounds like some incredible tributes were paid for a very incredible man. I think it's safe to say. Well, look, we are delighted to be joined by today's special guest in Adam Hastings. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Congrats on your return to rugby after a very nasty injury last year. How good does it feel to be back playing again?
Yeah, awesome. Obviously, it was a long road back, very boring and monotonous. I'm sure Zeebs and Wills could tell you about the joys of injuries. They've had plenty, I'm sure. But yeah, it's good to be back and finally playing a few games, I suppose, again.
What I was saying, Adam, obviously it's great that you're back playing rugby, but it is even better to be playing under the leadership of one of Scotland's all-time greats in Ryan Wilson.
Fraser Brown. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Ryan Wilson. It's obviously good back playing with Wills. He's a good man to have on your team. I'm hoping when I move, we don't play Glasgow until he's retired. I think that'll be a good one for me.
Oh, mate, you will get it. If we play against you, you will get it.
It's bad, isn't it? You're off the bat.
No,
Gloucester.
Gloucester.
Yeah.
Gloucester.
They're down the bottom as well, Seems. They're right down the bottom as well.
What a place, though. What a place to live, man. Cool city.
I'll go down. I think a lot of the boys stay in Cheltenham, so I'm looking to stay there. But I'm trying to sell my flat in Glasgow. So if there's any people in Glasgow looking for a flat, hit me up.
I'm sure there's some Adam Hastings fans out there that would be only delighted to live in the apartment you once lived in. You should probably make an extra fortune on that.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't think there's too many up here now, but yeah, we'll see.
Well, before we get on to your move to Gloucester, I do want to talk about earlier this year when you missed 2 games for Scotland due to a red card that you picked up against Leinster. How frustrating was that period for you?
Yeah, obviously it was. I mean, it was a tough one to take. I'd worked back from, my kind of shoulder recon. I'd come back. I think I got back 3 or 4 weeks earlier than planned. So I was really excited. Played against Ulster, probably a week too early, if I'm being honest. But then the Leinster game, I felt good, and then I think it was 20 minutes in, I obviously got that red, and it was just so frustrating because it wasn't as if I'd punched someone, you know what I mean? I almost felt like it was out of my control. I went up in the air, fell back, and my foot kind of flicked out and just caught the bloke right in his smacker, which obviously didn't look great. And then Wills did his best to not get me sent off, but I think it was done when they went on the slow-mo. So big Frank Murphy wasn't having any of it.
I still don't think it should have been a red.
I think even Zeeves
I remember this.
I remember this. Hold on, before we start on this conversation,
straight red.
Christina is obsessed with Leinster, so anything against Leinster, she's going Leinster. But yeah, Zeebs was saying it was a straight red. Nah, listen, there was no malice in it, accidental. If it had been in the Rainbow Cup, we'd been all right because we could have brought someone else on.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure Batia didn't mean to tackle that high at the weekend, but it still happened. Like, still, something serious could still happen. You know, if your man loses his eye, he has to go. You know, we had a player that did the same thing a couple of years back in the Champions Cup. It's unlucky, obviously, but it's a red card. Like.
Oh, fucking hell. He didn't want to get told off by coming on here. Look at you lot telling him off. You lot are out of order.
I never defend Leinster. I never defend Leinster.
True.
I wouldn't be a big Leinster fan, we'll put it that way. But on that occasion...
Yeah,
bad luck.
One of those ones. Yeah, hey, red's a red. I think it's all good.
Yeah.
Adam, Ryan was telling us at the time, did you apologise to the guy you did it to afterwards and he gave out to you or something? That was weird.
Are we going to this?
Yeah, what a job's worth. What a job's worth. I was saying.
I can't actually remember who it was. But yeah, so I obviously said sorry. And then apologized to everyone. Oh, sorry. And then, but no, genuine. Like as you said, like went up, fair play, caught the bloke in the face. Like he needed stitches. Like I'd have been gutted. So yeah, fair enough.
So vain.
And then look, went up, apologized to him after the game, apologized to the ref, and then got the disciplinary, note back from Leinster, and supposedly feared that he was going to be scarred for life.
Very Leinster, very Leinster-like.
That's the thing I was annoyed about is you do what happens on the field, sort of stays on the field. No one means to do it. That certainly wasn't something where you went out of malice to do it. But he said straight afterwards, he got the hump and he gone, "Oh, that was reckless, mate. Like, got the hump with you." And I'm like, listen, it was an accident. And then go and stick the knife in a bit more when you go to one of them things. If anyone came at me in one of these hearings, you sort it's rugby. You go, "Oh, listen, he didn't really mean to do it." But to then go and put like stuff like that in there, that's stupid. That annoys me.
Yeah. Oh well, it's done now. Look, I served my sentence, and I'm rejuvenated for it, so it won't happen again.
Well, you are keeping Finn Russell on his toes with that number 10 jersey. But how exciting is that challenge for you between the two of you?
Yeah, look, Finn's class. He's a top bloke as well. I get on really well with him. Zeebs will testify to him. He's a proper bloke. Obviously, Wilson knows him really well as well. So, yeah, he's playing he's different gravy at the moment. To be fair to him, I think over the past kind of few years, he's kind of brought his game to that new level out at Racing, and he's been so consistent, which is funny because people still say sometimes I still see things like, "Oh, he's inconsistent," but he's not been. He's been on fire. 90% of the time he's been out in France. So yeah, it's obviously tough because he is such a good player, and I want his shirt obviously. But look, for me, it's about kind of developing my game in different areas, and doing my best to get up to his level.
And what's your relationship like with Finn off the pitch?
Yeah, pretty good. Now look, when he was at Glasgow, obviously I was a young nipper, kind of signed, and he kind of took me under his wing on and off the field. Just
that's never a good thing, is it?
Did his best to ruin my career early. No, I get on really well with him. He's an easygoing bloke. It's not as if we're like, obviously we both want to start, but we're not bloody taking lumps out of each other in training. We're both not those type of guys. So it's a good dynamic, I think.
They share the same passion for fashion, Christina, but
I don't
Hayster loves a bit of clobber. Hayster loves a bit of clobber. What are those Valentino Birkenstock things you wear?
I knew you'd bring this up, man.
All this gear, but like Hayster, we were talking about, what about the cargo pants?
Yeah, what was your opinion on those?
I bet they were expensive. I'm not too sure on them though.
They're hideous. Stop being polite.
Okay, I'm glad you said it, Zeev. Look, it's a lot of his fashion I actually do rate from Finn. I think he's got a lot of good gear, but it looked like he was maybe a bit drunk when he got changed that morning.
Oh, you see, it's true. It's true that they zipped off at the knees as well, isn't it? They turned into 3/4 lengths.
They're hideous.
They were horrible. They were really bad. No. But what were some of the pearls of wisdom that he shared with you, Adam?
Perignon only.
Stick to champagne, you don't get a hangover. I think look, obviously we talk about games and talk through games. I think the things I've learned most from Finn is just actually from watching him. You pick up little cues on what he does, whether it's his little feints at the line or little feints before he's going to kick to disguise them, just little things like that. I think I've kind of learned off him that way. And then obviously in half-back meetings, and I've spent a bit of time with him over kind of in Scotland camp, just looking at games or previewing teams. We've had a lot of conversations. You speak about moves, you have little mini conversations in training. So yeah, just things like that. But as I said, I think I've learned a lot from just watching him, to be fair.
And how do you see yourself as an out half? Is it like, a maverick style like Finn, or is it more so reliable like, Sexton or Farrell? Where do you fit in?
Probably somewhere in the middle, I like to think.
More towards Finn. Don't go anywhere near like Sexton. Go further down.
Who would want to be the World Player of the Year?
Here we go. Oh, my friends.
I think obviously, I think when I first kind of came on the scene, it was probably more to that Maverick side. But I think as you know, I've developed a little bit. I like to think I've added a bit more maturity to my game and a bit more control. And yeah, I think that's still a thing I'm working on. You know, a lot of players have kind of got that instinct, and I feel like I've got that, but it's just about to take your game to that kind of top level is about developing that kind of latter end of the stuff.
Do you not think Hasty looks a bit like Entomac?
He's a head of hair on him, doesn't he?
Not with a lid. No, with my bond lid. He's a good looking lad, mate. I'll take that.
Don't you think they look a bit alike, Zeebs? Come closer to the screen, Hasto. Come closer to the screen.
Not a million miles away. Not a million miles away.
He's not a bad looking lad, and he's a good player. Take that, mate. Cheers, well.
Ryan, question for you: Adam or Finn? Who's your favourite?
Oh, come on! Bloody hell, Christina! I'm still playing with him. I know. Just ask him that when I leave. You've got 2 weeks.
Jeez.
Nah, I couldn't pick. Both good blokes. Both bloody good blokes.
You pick me.
Obviously, spending a lot more time with Hasto recently, and shared a few good beers recently with Hasto. So
yeah, we have actually. Yeah, in the garden. In the gate. Will's built his house all by himself with his bare hands. Has he told you that?
Just once or twice. You've mentioned it in passing. Yeah.
So we had a bonfire the other night.
Lovely.
That sounds cool.
Nice. Yeah.
Just a bonfire.
Just me and him. We had a bonfire and then I left.
Anyway, so I suppose you guys have a very exciting young team now for Scotland. And yes, Ryan, I'm including you in that. But do you think that you guys are on the way to becoming the best nation in Europe, Adam? Stop.
Sorry. Stop it, no.
This is what I have to deal with.
I feel sorry for you.
Wait, let me seriously. Go on.
Yeah, no, look, I think obviously the way we've kind of been going the past couple of years, we've had some really good results. I think, you know, Zeebs, man.
What? Zeebs, wind it in. Have some respect for our guests.
You did. You beat Georgia recently, didn't you?
Oh, mate, here we go. Here we go. Right, let's go. Frankie, get some stats up. We look at Christina. She loves it. She's like,
we're just here to have the crack, lads. It's all about the crack. Come on.
France.
Yeah, let's stop talking rugby.
Pretty special day in France when we won. You know,
that was a very cool game.
Yeah. England.
Yeah, sorry. As I was saying, before I was rudely interrupted. Yeah, look, we've had some obviously good results recently. I think the thing is, we've kind of been saying over the past kind of 4 or 5 years that we're developing, and even though we've had some good results, we've not finished higher in the table. And I can get that from the outside, that kind of looks like, well, are you really developing? Are you really improving? But I think we genuinely are. And you look at kind of the young boys coming through now, even younger than myself. You know, the 20-year-olds, the 21-year-olds that we've got at Glasgow, they're really pushing some of the older heads, you know, is awesome. And I think they'll continue to come through for Scotland, which is extremely positive. And yeah, I think, look, we've had some good results, but I think ultimately it's about building on that. And, you know, after, you know, there's been 8 boys named in the Lions team. I think once they go on that tour and come back, they'll bring a whole lot of experience and yeah, more to the team. So I think, yeah, we're in a good place right now.
So my next question then, Adam, about Scotland is, do you reckon that you can win the next World Cup?
Christina, I'm going to have a heart attack if you don't
For
stop.
the viewers that couldn't see us and are only listening in their cars, Zebo threw his headphones down and walked off.
He's just holding up a sign now saying, I'm retiring from the podcast as well.
I'm sorry. Next question, Christina. Come on.
Hey, listen, we got to focus on Romania and Georgia in the summer first. We've got 2 big games coming up. Romania and Georgia and England Day. Yeah.
Leave Adam give his political answer though. I'd like to hear this.
Nah, knock on from that one.
Yeah.
That's an unfair answer.
No, I mean, you never know. You'd be friends. But that was
you're
kind of
going
down
to
to
take
you,
the
right?
piss out of him, whatever said. I'm trying to defend me, mate. Yeah.
I'm not coming on this fucking podcast again.
Oh, champion.
You're taking it like a champ. This is what Ryan has to put up with a lot of the time. So, and we've been nice today. So,
Like
okay.
that.
Do I have to answer that?
Oh,
No,
take
no.
us away, Christina. Come on.
Christina, come on. Ask the question you asked me, Christina. What the nickname?
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what the nickname was.
No, right. Christina sent me a message saying, have you got any idea why they call Adam the Green Bean? Was it? And I was like laughing. She was like, right, I'm not asking it. And I'm like, I don't even know that. And then it turns out someone involved in this podcast knows someone that you know. Is that a bad thing? Is the green bean a bad thing or?
Nah, I don't know. I mean, I can't really.
But you're going to have to explain to us what it
You've
is.
got to give us like a little bit of it.
I can't. I'm trying to figure out a way of doing this. Nah, I can't tell you. I'm sorry. I can't.
I was rattling my brain at training today and I asked one of the boys, I was like, you ever heard anyone call Hastings the green bean?
The green bean. No.
Nah. Is that right? Is the green bean the right thing?
Yeah, Blair and Maggie, or the lean bean.
Right, okay. Oh, okay. I'm guessing it's got something to do.
And will Finn know, Adam? If I ask Finn, will he know?
Nah.
Okay. All right.
Oh, damn. Whatever. Anyway, so you are leaving Glasgow at the end of the season to go and play for Gloucester in the Premiership, even though your offer was matched by Glasgow and the SRU to keep you in the country. So what was your deciding factor that led you to going over to join the Cherry and Whites?
Yeah, obviously it was a tough one. I'm happy here at Glasgow. I'm close to home. I'm just an hour from my parents down the road and my family there, and all my schoolmates. So yeah, it was a really tough one. I think the thing ultimately was I just wanted a change. I wanted to play in a new league, and I feel like the Premiership will kind of help me get my game to the next level. And playing week in, week out in really, really competitive fixtures, I feel like can only help me, and that was kind of what the pool was there.
So it was kind of to do with the level of the competition in the Premiership compared to the Pro 14.
I think obviously, like I wouldn't say the Pro 14's less competitive. Like every single week you're playing tough games in the Pro 14 as well. I think it was just, the kind of attraction of, you've got a lot of massive games there. You're playing in front of big crowds week in, week out, different stadiums. I think that was just kind of what I was after, is just a slight change there. And I think obviously my injury as well potentially played a part in that. I wasn't playing. I'd been kind of doing 2 months of rehab. So yeah, it was a lot easier decision to make, because I could take myself out. It would have been a lot harder if I was playing week in, week out for Glasgow, and we were flying still. So yeah, it was a tough decision.
And what do you think that you can bring to Gloucester?
The green bean. The green bean. Look, I think obviously they've had Danny Cipriani's left them. They've got a good couple of young turns in Lloyd Evans and George Barton. But yeah, I think I've got a mix of kind of a running game and a kicking game. So yeah, I think I can bring that aspect to them as well. I feel as though over the past few seasons I've developed a lot more as a player. Played in big games with big moments, and I think I can take that experience down there.
And are you looking forward to some loose nights out in Cheltenham?
I don't know if it'll be as loose as Glasgow, to be honest. I went down to visit the other week, and it's a very small kind of English town, similar to Bath. So, look, I'm sure there'll be a few cider farms to check out and things like that, but it's certainly not big city life down there.
Adam, you're the third member of the Hastings rugby dynasty to represent the senior Scotland squad. Following in the foot. Sorry, Ryan. Do you want to ask the question or?
Daddy.
So that's it. Following in
Could
the
you
footsteps.
say his full name, please, Christina?
I don't know which one's his dad. Which one's his dad? Christina, which one's his dad?
His dad's name's Gavin, and his uncle's name's Scott.
Yes.
Uncle
well
as well.
done.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. And
Did
your
they play
dad.
together?
Hmm?
Did they play
Yeah.
together?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I should.
For Scotland, Zeebs.
Yeah. I know Gavin. Yeah, I didn't know the uncle played as well. Fair play.
Yeah, he's a
That's
crap
class.
commentator now. You'll know his annoying voice. But
Yes,
but,
yes, I do. Lovely fella, really nice. Yeah, that's gas. Jeez, some rugby family. Fair play.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
not bad.
Unreal.
And I suppose present company excluded, like your dad is probably the most famous Scottish rugby player in the history. So what was it like kind of growing up as his son?
Yeah, good, because I always knew I'd get a job in rugby. So I was sweet. Obviously, it had its tough moments. Obviously, when you're a young lad and all your mates kind of get into you that you're only playing or you're only starting because you're old man. But you know, kind of when you get a little bit older, you realise that you know, you are getting rewarded for ability and not just your last name. You know, which was tough as a youngster to kind of get through that, but obviously kind of spurred me on more as well. So yeah, it was ultimately, you know, it's pretty cool, and you know, I'm obviously very proud of my old man and Manco. Yeah.
Because when you decided then to pursue rugby in a professional capacity, did you actually feel any extra pressure to perform well, just given your family's legacy?
Maybe at the start. I mean, I wouldn't say it ever bothered me enough to affect my game or anything like that, or be on my mind the whole time. I think obviously when you're first coming through, and I remember like the first couple of times I was on TV, I'd watch a game back with a commentary like and this and that, and all you'd hear is things about your old man, you know, son of, and yeah. But as you kind of, you know, gotten further into my career, I think that's obviously mentioned a little bit less, which is, I don't know, a good thing, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a good thing. You've paved your own way. So,
yep.
Did he win any big trophies?
Yeah, 1990 Grand Slam, 5 nations though.
So, is there any photos of you with you on his shoulders, like Entomac his old
He
man?
wouldn't have been born, no?
Recreate what?
Nah. So I was born in 96 and he retired in 96. So I ended my dad's career. I've been repaying.
How cool was that, by the way? Yeah. Like that they redid that. They got Entomac's old man on his shoulders, didn't they?
Yeah,
Had him
cool.
holding the trophy. That is
proper cool, isn't it?
I've been told now that you're a big fan of George Square, but what's the best Scottish night out in, say, the West End?
Of old, not now, because all it is locale, isn't it?
Yeah, locale.
What's the chip shop?
Old
Salties.
So it's a chippy, but basically because you can't get in anywhere now, you have to book 3 weeks in advance. It's just a guaranteed table. But if it's raining, you're screwed because there's no cover. But
this is a chipper.
Yeah, Old Salties chip shop. Yeah, but they do the best espresso martinis in the West End, I reckon.
In a chip shop. Go away.
It's not quite Paris, is it?
Yeah, this is very odd.
They're a great scampi though. But yeah, in the West End, I think Friday night game, straight home, quick change, and then into Ashton Lane. It's kind of this cool little cobbled street in the West End, lots of different bars. We usually fly into the Loft. That's kind of this upstairs bit, and we have a power hour there, and then it's usually straight along. It was straight along to Sanctuary, because Ali Price used to sort us, but now he's got a missus. I think he won't be sorting the boys anymore. So I think we're gonna have to find somewhere new. Might have to be Wilson's bonfire night again.
It was down to Sanctuary for a nice sleep, wasn't it?
Oh God, yeah. Oh, me and Wills after the final. I've got a funny video. It was me, Wills, and his old man, and we had a little power snooze at 2 a.m. in Sanctuary.
Go away.
All three of us fast asleep.
So yeah, no, we had some good nights out in there actually, especially with Finn as well. He used to enjoy a Sanctuary night out. So
brilliant.
Yeah.
I know you just kind of told us the story there about you guys going for a little nap in a nightclub, but what is Ryan usually like on a night out? Because we've only ever been told great things.
Hey, Stowe, be careful.
You don't have to be careful. This is a circle of trust.
I I want to know.
See,
'Cause we have a night out coming up soon.
Oh, he's a top bloke. Like, don't get me wrong, he's great to have a beer with. He's full of it. I've seen him in kind of all states. I've seen him as, the Duracell bunny at the start of the night, flying around Motormouth, won't stop talking. Then I've obviously been for a snooze with him at 2 a.m. So I've seen the full roller coaster, the Ryan Wilson roller coaster. But yeah, no, good lad to go on a night out with. I think, good to have on your team.
Adam, tell me now, what are you going to miss the most about Glasgow when you leave this summer?
A lot of things. Not the weather. It's honestly been raining, I think, for the past 3 weeks. So I'm looking forward to a bit of southern sun. But yeah, I think the boys, genuinely, we've got such a good group of lads at Glasgow. Especially this year, I think it's been a tough one, but we've kind of been held together by this group of lads we've got here, and I think that is literally it. It'll be the boys and the memories I've made with them over the last kind of 3 years.
Oh, hey, Sto, when you get down there, have you got someone to laser your leg hairs down there, or how long?
What are you talking about, mate? Mate, you can't be bringing this spice.
This is not true, is it?
No, do you believe this man? After everything he says, week in, week out, do you believe this?
Okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Here. So
show us your legs. Just show us your legs. I think they look better without hair.
My legs,
I think they look better. He showed me a picture of his legs to argue it the other day with hair, and to be fair, they look better. They look better without hair. But
thanks, bro. Appreciate that.
Christina, do you laser your leg hair, Christina?
I get laser done. Yeah, it's great.
Is
it sore?
No, well, you know. Surely you know. You should know.
I don't know.
Unreal.
No, we were doing a Manscaped piece a while ago, and Ryan just mentioned. I think we were talking about how ridiculous your hair was at the time, and then it seems to have toned down. Yeah, you were, and then you mentioned how Adam lasers himself.
No, Will's told me the next day. He said I may have made up a little white lie about you in the podcast. Sorry, mate.
All right. By the way, you know the green bean thing. I know what it is now.
Fuck.
Oh dear. Well, look. Tell me, how is Blair Kinghorn coping with your move to Gloucester? You two have a bit of a bromance, don't you?
No, Blair got a girlfriend 2 months ago, so that bromance is dead and buried. No, I'm joking. He's all good. Look, he's obviously excited for me. He's excited to come down and visit. So, yeah, I've been very supportive of the move, so it's been good. Ryan,
what's their bromance like? Have you seen it in person? Have you experienced it?
I have. I went on obviously at the World Cup with them, and it's pretty tight. It's quite a beautiful thing, actually. It's it was me and Barks. We were like the older bromance, they're saying, and those two. And there was Ali and Finn. There's a few couples on that tour. Yeah. But no, it's
minimal drama.
I won't go into
minimal drama
detail.
In this bromance.
Yeah.
Go on. Can you give us at least one story there? Why Ryan has pulled face?
I wouldn't do that to you, so. No, look, they enjoyed the fruits of Japan.
Okay, I'm following. All right. And look, I believe you mentioned Ali Price there.
That's fine. That's a good thing to say.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Well, you did mention Ali Price there, and I believe he let you in on a secret to keeping your hair looking fresh throughout the 80 minutes of the game. So can you let us know what that secret is? Oh yeah, the mysterious powder. It's this got to be powder, and it's oh no, Welsh, you know the powder, don't you? Or you use the Dax wax to keep that.
It wouldn't.
It's this like powder, and it just keeps it in place quite nicely throughout the game, because obviously we're flying about the place, so
would it work on Zeeb's hair?
Be great, yeah.
Bit of talcum powder on the napper.
If I grow it, I'm the boss. I decide if I grow it or not. I control it.
Well, I'm gonna have to shave my head when I go to Gloucester, so any tips, mate? Let me know.
Yeah, that's the initiation, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So it's the milk challenge. So I think you've got to do it's either 8 or 10 pints of milk in 20 minutes, and you can't throw up. But as soon as the 20 minutes are done, you can be sicker, do whatever you want. But if you can't do it, then off it comes. So I'm going to be a baldy, I think. I'm not keeping 8 pints of milk.
You got the option.
Yeah. That's quite a lot, isn't it?
Would you not just start practice if you know that you have to do if that's the initiation? Would you not just start
chugging
practicing
milk in the flat?
Hey, Stone, for a man like you, I wouldn't be surprised if you have been practicing because he does not want to shave his head. There's no way he wants to shave his head. I just forgot about that. Bloody hell, you must be stressing out. You're all right.
You're going to lose your hair if you stress about it.
I've done it before. I've actually shaved my head before and it didn't look too bad. It just accentuates the size of my nose and teeth, but that's all right.
Do you dye your hair yourself or do you go to a salon and get it dyed?
Same woman that does his legs.
I love it. Ruthless.
She does nails, legs, and teeth and hair. I get it done by a barber in Glasgow. So yeah.
Last question before you go. You've got an incredibly exciting career still to come, but at this stage now, what goes down as your biggest highlight so far, and then also your biggest regret?
Bloody hell. Biggest
murder for the question.
Start with the regret.
What's a regret? Jesus. Probably just I'll tell you what my regret is. Pro 12 final, Pro 14 final against Leinster, and I got the ball on the 5 metre line, and I thought Sexton had swam off me, but he hadn't, and Robbie Henshaw left Sam Johnson untouched under the sticks, and I carried. So I think if I could go back in time, that's a moment I'd change and put Sam Johnson under the sticks. I think we might have won that final if I'd done that. So yeah, big regret actually. And then biggest highlight, that France game you mentioned, where my parents had a wee smooch. That was an awesome game. I think playing Russia in the World Cup, that was my World Cup debut, or it was my second game, but Wales played in that game as well. That was just the funnest game of rugby I think I've ever played in. I don't think I had to make one tackle, and we just had so much ball. It was just unbelievable. It was so fun. And then, so I'd say that
we won 3-0. We won 3-0 by the way, Zeus.
But I think, again, to be fair, this year coming on against France and just winning at the end there was just, I've never ever won a game of rugby like that in the last minute, and it was just the most unbelievable feeling, even with no fans. And then kind of the night and morning we had after that on to the next day was just unbelievable. So, and after kind of coming back from injury, the red card, to then come back in that game, Wilson's 50th as well. It was just so many just cool things about that game. So yeah, I think I'll go for that one.
Remember, he threw the pass that won the game. Remember that? He was the one that pulled the pin on that pass after I got it just to the line.
I thought you were taking credit for winning the game.
Yeah, I was, because I took it to the line and thought, I've just come into this campaign.
Don't want to steal
I better
the glory.
not score.
No.
Yeah, exactly. You'll
let your best mate do it.
Enough for me. And then I just gave Hastings pulled the pin and threw that pass to Duhan van der Merwe, who scored in the corner.
Very nice, very nice. Well, look, I don't have any more questions for you, Adam. Just like Ryan, do you have any other stories you want to tell us, or Zeebs, do you have any questions you want to ask him?
Best of luck in Gloucester. Excited to see how that goes. No doubt it'll be a good challenge, good success, great success, and you might go back to Glasgow one day, maybe.
You never know, yeah. Well, like you in Munster, eh?
Yeah. Never say never, brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Congrats and best of luck with this. And
thank you very much. Appreciate that. You too.
When's the summer tour? You'll be on that, will you?
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know when that's getting announced. I think maybe this week or next week. But yeah, fingers crossed. Good couple games there.
England A first.
Yeah.
In Twickenham.
Welford Road.
England A.
Okay.
Do you play England A?
There's
Scotland A, England A. There's a good.
Scotland A, England. All right.
Yeah. And then
did you think it was the full Scottish squad against England A's?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised either.
Oh my God. What, I'm beaten for what? Beaten for like a fifth time after the fourth. Come on. Hey, Stone, mate. Lovely to have you on, brother.
Champion.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much, Adam.
Great to chat.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Cheers, bro.
Bye. Bye. Have a good one.
Well, look, we are back with our partners Manscaped, who are the best in below the belt men's grooming, for another installment of Cut of the Week. where we'll ask our panel to pick their best moment from the weekend's action. So Ryan, of all the great European rugby that we saw over the weekend, what goes down as your Manscaped cut of the week?
It's not even a bit of the game. It's the bit, like I've mentioned already in this podcast, I think the most amazing moment I've seen of the weekend is Entomac with his old man on his shoulders, replicating that picture that he has when he was on his old man's shoulders back when they first ever won the European Cup. That's got to be one of the coolest stories in rugby. You know, the biggest trophy, I think, in rugby, in club rugby anyway. And to be able to do what your old man did all those years back, that's just unbelievable. So that's my favourite. That's probably my favourite moment, is seeing that moment happen on the field.
Steve, what's yours?
Mine would probably be what's his name? The centre for La Rochelle, his last ditch tackle on Colby. I thought that was class. Dumaru, Jeffrey Dumaru. It was very impressive, really good, honest, hard working. You know, probably a little touch of O'Gara's influence on that team. You know, when Dupont put in the kick, Dumaru was like very close to Dupont, around halfway, and he had a long way to go. And, you know, that never say die attitude, and, you know, it kept him in the game. And I really thought that was a really standout moment. So
nice one. Well, guys, don't find yourselves being left out and join over 2 million men in using the #1 grooming products worldwide. Receive 20% off all of their incredible products and free shipping using the code Offload. Your crown jewels. Well, thank you. Well, that is it from us. Thanks to Adam Hastings, Ryan Wilson, and Simon Zebo. And thanks to you for listening. More offloading next week. Make sure to subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a rating and review if you can. And don't forget to check us out on YouTube as well. Thanks, guys.
bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.